morning. Jonah DiPasquale Hoggle Scope checking in. Hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. As I said, my name is Jonah DiPasquale. I like to scope about cycling tips. Good morning. Hey. What's up, Zedjisk? Thanks for joining in. Hoggle Scope. Saturday, upstate New York. Getting some miles in. Thanks for joining. Jonah DiPasquale Hoggle Scope. What's up, B? How we doing? What's happening? Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hey, listen, one of the reasons of this Periscope is to give you folks some helpful tips for riding indoors. I know that a lot of times people sort of put the bikes away once the cooler temps come around, but there are some advantages of riding indoors. Certainly the benefit is going to be that you don't have to worry about the weather. You can ride safely and comfortable in your home. I choose to ride in my basement, a little bit cooler, not the best overall environment that I like to be in. Of course, I'd like to ride outside. I'm generally an outdoor cyclist, but the advantages are certainly good. So one of the things I want to talk about is, again, you notice that I'm wearing specific cycling clothing. Good morning. What's going on? B. Cree. He's 39. Globe Enzo. Good morning. How you doing this morning? Enzo. Eruditi, thank you for joining. Guys, thanks for coming in. Just getting on the trainer this morning, and I was going through some tips for indoor cycling. Again, an indoor trainer, pretty good investment. As I said, the nice thing about it is it does weatherproof your riding. Any particular time you can get out and get a workout in. Again, if it's raining or cold or snowing or whatever. Good morning, BK 100. And so let's talk about the different styles of trainers. There are stationary trainers, there's rollers. This particular setup here is made by a manufacturer called Kinetic. It's the rock and roll trainer. Definitely more of a higher end trainer, but a very good value nonetheless. Hey, Simen, thanks for joining in. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in to Hoggle Scope. We're talking about trainers and indoor trainers. This happens to be a Kinetic brand trainer that I'm on. Good morning. Thanks for joining in. Ems Vinge, how we doing? Hope I got that right. But again, indoor trainers are good. One of the nice things I like about indoor trainers is, you pretty much can just focus, on working on your cadence and your power. There's another style of indoor trainers called rollers. They're definitely more of an advanced method of riding indoors. Certainly, again, if you really want to stay mentally sharp, rollers are definitely a good way to go. Christina! Hey, Christina, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in the Hoggle Scope. Anara's in the house. Hey, folks, we're just talking about indoor trainers. And, again, one of the good things about trainers is they're relatively inexpensive. You don't have to really spend a ton of cash to get on and into a trainer. Hey, Joe Turtle. What's up, Joe Turtle? What's going on? Joe Turtle. Good to see you, Joe. Thanks for coming in to Hoggle Scope. So we're talking about trainers. Chummy 70. Good morning, Chummy 70. What's happening? That's Jesus. We got Jesus in the house. All right, I hope I didn't mangle that. It's Jesus. Digital. What's going on, Digital? Maxim. Good morning. Guys, we're talking about trainers and indoor trainers and the different styles of trainers and things that you can incorporate into riding. Zach, thanks for joining. Good morning, Hoggle Scope. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you tuning in. Francis, what's going on, Francis? How's everybody doing? So we're talking about trainers. We're talking about stationary trainers. We're talking about rollers. Again, the advantages of trainers. I just like the fact that, again, you can just bounce to your den, your basement, your man cave, whatever you want to call it, and get a quick workout in. The nice thing too is, again, you see I'm wearing specific cycling clothing. The particular bike I'm on happens to be my fixed gear bike, and really almost any bike will fit onto a stationary trainer. Now, if you want to look at purchasing a trainer, a couple things you want to consider. Again, there's inexpensive trainers. I really wouldn't recommend going super cheap. I think, like anything, you kind of get what you pay for. You may find that, again, any of your shops, local bike shops, by the way, will be good in terms of recommending the type of trainer that you want to get into. But my recommendation is a fluid trainer. Fluid trainers generally work a lot better. Hey, Khaleesi, good morning. Thanks for coming in. Talking about trainers. So again, the one recommendation I have for trainers would be a fluid trainer. And the reason being is the fluid trainer has, I think, a little bit better consistency as far as, the feel. A little less notchy or wonky. I don't know best way to describe that, but and again, a little bit more of an investment, but I think long term, you'll have the thing forever. Most of your better companies do have a lifetime warranty, so that if there ever is any question, anything going on with the trainer, usually most companies are pretty good about taking care of it. So that's one of the things you want to do. The other thing too with a trainer, there's a thing that goes on the front wheel. It's a trainer block, so that's for the front wheel. Charles in charge. Thanks, Charles. Thanks for joining in. We're talking trainers on Hogglescope this morning. Just getting a quick little morning workout before going to the public market. Had again up early for the AM feeding my little son, and dropped into the basement to get a trainer session in. But we're talking trainers. So getting back to the point of fluid trainers, stationary trainers, the front wheel. You do need to keep the front wheel propped up. That is important because as it keeps the bike level, so you're not like riding into like a nosedive. But that's really important. So definitely want to get into something like that. The area, the workout area is pretty important. I'm not riding with a fan right now. I should be, but again, I'm not moving. So that's a real bike. This is a real bike. Yes, it's a real bike. See, I'm on a real bike. Yep. This is a bike manufactured by KHS. It's a fixed gear bike. It's called the Flight 100. Almost any bike you can put on a trainer, but very good question. Typically, I try to put, road style bike onto my trainer, but you can use almost any bike. That's a very good question. Thank you. Cafe Jen, hopefully I get that right. Good morning. Thanks for joining in the house. We're talking about trainers. So, again, with the fluid trainer, you have the trainer itself. You want the block that goes under the front wheel. The area that we're talking about, the fan's usually pretty good. Light's pretty good. Tips to stay on the bike as far as motivation. Again, you see I'm wearing a Bluetooth here. I'll usually live stream my music. A lot of times what I've done is I've taken Redbox movies or live stream and watch some movies. And again, Heartwise, hey, working on the ticker this morning. Heartwise, thanks for tuning in. We're talking about trainers. So again, we talked about fluid trainers. Those are really good. The other aspect of indoor training are rollers. They're definitely much more challenging. Again, if you really want to be working on just a lot of mental clarity and keeping the bike balanced and keeping your cadence, that's definitely a good way to go. They're a little bit more pricier. I've used both. I like the fact that it's just pretty easy just to roll downstairs and jump on my trainer and not really think about it. So those are one of the things you can do that as well. And again, lastly, just clothing. You see I'm actually wearing specific cycling clothing. I think that's really important. You really want to make sure that, again, you're wearing the right clothing. This is a tech shirt. These are cycling shorts, Again, it makes sense. I'm wearing a cycling cap. I don't necessarily have to, but it is one of those things you do. And also, too, you want to be, I'll be ready. You know, I've got water, so I do get thirsty. I can take a sip. Depending on how long you're on the trainer, you know, you may want to, you know, have a snack or whatever. But those are key things. And again, the main point I want to make with getting onto a trainer, or getting used to doing that, is start out short. Hey folks, thanks for joining. Good morning, Hogglescope. A bunch of folks coming in here today. Beto Molina. What's up, Beto? Enzo's in the house. Jerry, how we doing? Looks good to see you. Jonah DiPasquale, Hogglescope. I scope about cycling and cycling tips, and this Periscope is about Chicago. What's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to Hogglescope. Jerry, what's going on, Jerry? Are you an avid cyclist, Jerry? Or are you just kind of thumbing around for information on indoor trainers? I just got done with my messenger job. Nice, nice. Yeah, messengers are pretty baller. I would imagine a cycling messenger. Is that what you do? I'm very envious. I go to New York City now and then, and I see those. Yeah, it's pretty badass. I'll tell you what. I own a single speed. I own a fixed gear bike, and I have mad respect for the people that have just the amount of balls to ride in traffic on a fixed gear bike. But I'm trying something new, actually. This bike that's on my trainer, ironically, is my fixed gear bike, and normally I'll put my cyclocross bike on the trainer, and a cyclocross bike it's kind of more like a road bike with gears. But at any rate, I found like when I put this bike on the trainer, it helps me to just kind of keep more of a consistent cadence and not worry about changing gears or what gears I should be in. But that's pretty awesome. So I think that was Jerry. You said you were from Chicago. We're awesome. So what? So now tell me, you're a messenger, and like, so that's your full-time gig as a bike messenger. Is that what I take it, Jerry? That's pretty awesome. Thanks for joining in. Tommy Watkins. The Tommy Watkins. Side gigs to me. Okay, them. Oh, gotcha, nice. Yeah, I don't, it's, you have to kind of live in an area that supports that. Again, where I'm from here in Rochester, New York, it's a pretty small city. I wouldn't say that there's a ton of opportunity for that, for messenger services, but I think if you move, obviously, to those bigger outlying cities, you're better off. I mean, we're about, oh goodness, from New York City, I'm about 5.5 hours. I live in upstate New York, and it's Rochester's over by Lake Ontario, so we're a ways away. Cities, we have a city, but it isn't, certainly of the caliber, of a New York City. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, if you can make, some revenue out of that, that's definitely respectable. I mean, I always say, hey, anytime you can get paid to ride a bike, that's a good thing. But so let's get kind of round robin rodeo to what we're talking about. Is with indoor trainers. They're great. Again, the only tough part is when you're trying to get into doing this, it is tough. You see this beautiful backdrop, the rafters of my basement. It kind of is what it is. Again, it allows me to just kind of get away and be able to get on my trainer. I think the area that you're going to be riding your trainer is important. Make sure that you do have an area that's dedicated to it, because if you don't have it set up, I just don't think that you're going to be motivated enough to want to get onto the trainer and ride it. And start in small blocks. Maybe for a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever, and then just start ramping it up, to whatever you're used to. And I think you'll find out that if you do make it a regular routine to ride your trainer, that it's just it's a great way to maintain your base fitness. I think the one thing I want to emphasize to my audience out there is that this doesn't take the place of obviously riding a bicycle outside, but I think that the difference in terms of not being, on my trainer and then getting on my bike, I find like my cardio definitely takes a hit in my legs. What about burning through back wheels? I've heard trainers can destroy a black tire. Great question. Great question. That is a very, very good question. I'll answer that. Welcome this. What's up, Venus? Venus, thanks for coming in. Hey, great question just had posed to us by Jerry out of Chicago. Well, Jerry, you do have a good point. Generally, the nature of a trainer is that the flywheel does connect to the back wheel of the bike. In fact, that's a great point. Let me just jump off here really quick, and I can actually show you that. That's a great idea, Jerry. So let's do this here. Hang on. So I'm going to turn the camera around here one second. Hang on. All right. So Jerry brought up a great point. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you probably can see this. This is actually the rear flywheel of the trainer. And again, as you see, this is the actual fluid chamber. This is the actual flywheel. This particular trainer is called the Kinetic Rock and Roll, and it's a phenomenal trainer. I'll tell you, I really, I'm a huge fan of this trainer. These guys are great. They make a whole different a level of trainers, but if you're serious about getting into a good quality trainer, these guys definitely do it right. But I want to touch base on Jerry's question. So yeah, Jerry, you definitely are going to see an area of friction from this tire. They do make trainer specific tires that you can get if you're going to primarily keep your bike fixed onto the trainer. Yeah, that's it's probably a good way to do this. But again, I do take this bike off the trainer. I do take it outside and ride it, and the trainer specific tire isn't necessarily intended to be an outdoor cycling tire. So that's definitely something that you want to take into consideration. But that was a great question. And then again, I want to point out earlier, you guys heard me talking about the block that goes under the front wheel. This particular block, it's fairly unique. It does provide kind of a cool little swivel. There are some different notches to it. But again, you don't have to run out and break the bank. Honestly, if you didn't want to purchase a specific cycling type, again, block, I guess, if you will, a good old phone book certainly will suffice. But those are some things that definitely will enhance the cycling experience. But again, Jerry, great question, by the way. Again, from yourself about the tire. Again, a lot of times, folks don't have those kinds of questions. They don't ask them. But that was pretty solid. I do appreciate that. So again, those are some of the key things that I think a lot of times people don't realize, they don't think about. Again, yes, it will burn through your tires, but I think a lot of times what you can do is if you have like a crappy an old set of road tires that you can just shuffle out. That's one of the things that you can do, but I really don't worry about it. Again, I think the other point too is at the end of the end of the season, it just kind of is what it is. You're just but again, not everybody's got unending amounts of money where they can just keep replacing tires. So hey, great question, and that's pretty awesome. Enzo's still in the house. Jerry, good to have you. Enzo Armani. Enzo looks like he's pretty busy. Coffee lover. I'm a big coffee guy. Try to get my coffee before I get rolling. And typically I don't drink too much coffee before my workout. What's going on? Good morning. Enzo, loving the name, my friend. Loving the name. Where are you from, my man? Good morning, 8. Good morning, NL. Thanks for joining in Holoscope. We're just talking about some trainer stuff. You just watching now. You may want to catch the replay. Toronto. Nice, yeah. Not too far from us in Rochester. Beautiful city, Toronto, by the way. Very clean, very friendly. I think there's a, fairly strong cycling community up in Toronto. Go Bills, exactly. Yeah, my father's he's a big Bills fan. He's a season ticket holder, so he's heavily into football. I don't mind it, win, lose or draw. I watch football. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, but ironically, my wife, she's an avid Giants fan, so it's one of those things. But so hey, if you're just tuning in now, my name is Jonah DiPasquale. I scope about cycling tips. Typically, this is a new style of scope that I'm rolling out. It's called Trainer Scope, where I just kind of jump on my trainer and I do throw out some beneficial tips. Ironically, we were talking about tips for riding indoors. And a little recap for you. We mentioned trainers, indoor cycling trainers can be very beneficial. A little bit of a hobby list of things that you might want to consider. Definitely not buying a cheap trainer. Cheap trainers definitely don't last that long, though they are inexpensive. Typically, a fluid type trainer works pretty well. Having a specific area works good. And then also, again, the front wheel, having some sort of stabilization block is good. The area that you ride in. Again, having a fan, having, a ventilation, a well-ventilated area, I guess I should say, is the key thing to doing that. Making sure that when you do ride your trainer, I like to, tech clothing's fine. You don't have to wear specific bike clothes, but it is important that I think if you get on the bike to, kind of dress the part, because I think it does help that mental, psych in terms of getting into a workout. But we also talk about rollers, definitely more of an advanced level of indoor training, a little bit more technical. Am I a fan of rollers? Yeah, I do like rollers. I feel like, a lot of times I just want to get on the trainer and just kind of shut my mind off and just roll. But they're very beneficial, a little bit pricier. And then just one quick thing about the trainers, or the rollers, I should say. They do make a number of different types of material of the rollers themselves, which is pretty important. For example, a plastic tumbler or roller is going to be much more softer and much more pliable, so it's not going to be as fast and responsive. So if you're a beginner, that's probably something you want to consider if you're jumping into that. Now, if you're more of an advanced rider, the tumblers become much smaller, also made out of like aluminum, but those are very fast, so you do need to be on your A game. And then ironically, some of the trainers do make rollers where they're slightly notched just to make sure that you can stay in the center. So, you got to kind of weigh that out and see if that's an option. But again, I think, just to my point, the fluid trainer is way easier to get into. The trainer that I was just showing a few minutes ago, if you want to catch this on replay again, was called the Kinetic Rock and Roll. And just did a bunch of research. Wanted to make sure that I did, invest in the right trainer. Obviously, I'm an avid cyclist, and I mean, I've got plenty of use out of my trainer, so I have no qualms about investing into a decent level trainer. So this is really one of the things that you want to make sure, don't break the bank, but I really recommend buying a good quality trainer, because you do have it for quite a long time. So, as I said, just thinking about those factors, those are big things. And then lastly, don't I wouldn't necessarily lose sleep over, not riding your trainer every day. I think, one of the things you got to realize is that, even if it's, 30 minutes every other day, or, sometimes, for example, a good recommendation is I'll get up in the morning, ride 30 minutes, do my work routine day, come home, do what I got to do, and then maybe just, ride 30 minutes in the evening. So I've, ridden, the trainer for an hour. If you have the time to commit to it, that's great. But if you don't, then I would, don't feel like, the last thing you want to do is dread getting on your trainer. I think a lot of times, when you talk to people about getting onto the trainer, oh man, that stupid trainer I hate. I mean, it's, yeah, I get it. It's not the best case scenario, but, the beauty of being on my trainer is when I'm done, I just, roll upstairs to my family and get rolling into my day. So I'm going to get back to my workout. As I said, my name is Jonah DiPasquale. This is Hoggle Scope. If you're watching this on replay, very grateful for your time. I would highly encourage you to give me a follow on Twitter. It's the Hoggle. Please, if there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to give me a DM. Also, check out the Blab that myself and a good colleague, Gunnar Soros or Anello Grande, that we will host every Thursday around 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's blab.im. If you need that URL link, just DM me. I can send that to you, but it's called Bike Chat 101. We talk about a lot of the basics of cycling. I don't know if you've had a chance to, obviously, folks watching now, you understand live streaming, but Blab's been really cool, very interactive. We've had some great forums, like, for example, this past Thursday, had a colleague of mine from a local bike shop was giving folks some great advice on some clothing, fall weather cool gear, clothing tips, and some nutrition tips. We talked about heart rate, so a little bit varied themes, but there are definitely some specific topics. And again, if you have the ability to tune in and check that out, that's Thursdays, 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the States. As I said, I'm very grateful for everyone's time. It's like Enzo's still in the house. Got some other folks hanging out, but listen, I'm going to shut it down. Got a few more minutes to zone out before I get into my day. Going to head to the public market and got a whole slew of fun activities, but I may jump on and do an afternoon scope. I think I'm going to go for a cyclocross ride, and I'll definitely be sharing that out with you. But in the meantime, definitely stay tuned. Anything cycling related, if you do like this, please don't hesitate to share it out with your followers on Twitter or just with your followers in general. Again, my name is Jonah DiPasquale. This is Hoggle Scope. Everyone be well. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Thank you. Enzo, thanks for your time, brother.